Well, welcome. In this video, we'll do some quick analysis with the anchored vWap to see if we can maybe glean out where Bitcoin's target or downside target might be. This is real simple. This is something you can do on your own as well on TradingView. And so let's jump in. Let's talk about what we're looking at. We're looking at Bitcoin US dollar on the daily time frame. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the significant highs. We're going to grab the anchored vWap tool. We'll take these significant highs, so we'll take this one right here, which is the 2017 high, and we're going to take these significant lows. So here's a low from March 2020, and we'll see here, those are where these two align. Now I'm not going to walk through all of these here on the video. I've already done this, so let's actually turn those on and see what actually aligns or what happens. So here's the highs. So I went through and actually took all these significant highs. These are in red. And then here are the lows. Let's turn off the highs real quick. You'll see here's the lows. These are in teal. Now the first thing you should notice right away, obviously, is both the highs and the lows really coalesce right around this 25 to, I'd say 17.2, 17.300 level. So everything really coalesces right here, which in just standard support and resistance, we can just go back to the all-time high in the this 2017 high is the mass awareness high. This is the first time that pretty much Bitcoin was known worldwide. Not everybody was participating, but it is well known worldwide. So this is the first mass awareness high, 2017. You see that aligns really spot in the middle of where all these anchored vWaps really coalesce. Another interesting thing that we can do here, and this is just, in some ways, this is backing up the fact that it actually wants to retap that high. That's really what it's doing. If we take the fib tool, which is just set for the 25, let's just take this level here. Let's say below all these vWaps. Right around 16,000 or so, let's say. 16,500. So the purple line is the middle line here. And then this is this gray is 75%, and then this is 25%. First thing to note is that the low, or the recent lows, they really coalesce here, right around this kind of 25% level, which would make sense. If you look at, if this is the most recent high that the market is tracking, and then this is the high, the all-time high. Now what was interesting, obviously, is that this low didn't come in. So we really should use this here. What I mean is this low didn't come in until from this high. This low came from this high. So if we do that, it still aligns. You'll see that price action stops really finds heavy support right around this 28,900 level. Multiple times it tested that, and multiple times it bounced off that right here. So that aligns. So we would expect probably the same type of thing. If we roll this up to the all-time high, we would expect some reaction, which aligns with other vWaps here. So let me use the arrow tool. So we would expect some reaction here, and actually that aligns with standard price action. I would say if price gets down here, and this is probably a good swing trade. We just look at this. We look at what this is saying right here. This area here, not quite there, but once it breaches these lows and then comes here and breaches these two anchored vWaps, this is probably good for maybe a 20 to 30% move, meaning that it breached these lows. You would expect a reaction to the upside here, and it might take anywhere from 10 to 30 days. An upside reaction to right around 30%, maybe breaching into this range and really looking to what you could say trap buyers. So it would be looking like it's going to come back. It hit its bottom. It's going to come back up, and then it's going to really trap buyers in this area here, and then it's going to sell off and reach its eventual target, which is down here, right around near the all-time highs. So that's interesting. This coalesces with some other analysis I've done too that'll be in further videos. One thing I can say is if we look and say, well, how can we look at this, or how would, if it gets there, what would we expect? Here's what I would expect, and this is getting to some future videos that I'm working on, but let's just look at this time here. it spent here 120 days in this little range here. And then thereafter, before it hit the March low right here, it spent, let's see how much time it spent in this range here. It spent roughly 248 days or so in this range. It spent a little bit longer there because you could count this here, but really that's when the bottom was in. When you saw this here and it double tapped this, and then if I don't have the RexDog system turned on here, but the RexDog system here in this area here really gave you the clue that the bottom was in down here. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So let's look at this total time. This total time is right around 476 days. Let's cut that in half. Let's say it's going to be 225 some odd days. So let's say, let's just say that, let's remove these things because they're in the way. Let's just play this out. Let's say that, well, first it wants to hit the 50% target again. Let's just say that's where it's going, which does align with some things on the RexDog system. So it wants to hit that. It's going to bounce off that, and it's not going to go straight down, but eventually it's going to get down here to that 17,000 level down here. And let's say it takes not that long. Let's say it takes about 90 days, 130 days. And then let's say it spends 200 and some odd days in this little range here. I mean, it's a big range. It'll be about a 20 to 30% range. But let's say it spends, let's say 230 days, which puts us right around April of 2023. April 2023. Now, it's my contention that what's going to happen if this happens. I mean, obviously, the other thing it could do is it could keep going and it could go to zero, right? That's the other thing. That's always in the back of our mind. So that could happen. I'll be buying down here. So if it does get here, I will be buying down here. So there'll be at least one buyer down here. I don't know if I'll hold it if it continues going down, but there will be at least one buyer down in this range. What I will say is that I think what will happen is, and I mentioned this on Discord, is that you'll know it's the bottom's in and the buy button has hit and that it's going to 120K, which I think is kind of the next upside target, if not a little bit higher, when we see the biggest green candle that's ever printed on Bitcoin. So I'm not saying it's going to come from this range. It might come from a little bit higher, but basically you're going to see the biggest green candle that's ever printed on Bitcoin. That's really said that there's capital flows going into Bitcoin. And the capital flows are not just coming from retail side. They're coming from family offices. They're coming from places that have allowed their capital to be opened up to 1 to 5% to invest in crypto, to invest into the crypto space. If they're not already there, which some of them are already there. But once the world opens up a lot more, then they'll be allocating 1 to 5% of their assets to the crypto space, and Bitcoin's going to be one of those. And then that's when it's really going to hit, quote unquote, kind of the big person's club, where I think that we'll see a run where it will just run up to, let's say, I don't know timing on this, obviously, but 130, 128,000 or so, 126,000. So that's just me pontificating. Just been in this space since 2016 or so, 2015, around that time. Heavily, obviously, from 2016 on. I was in it a little bit before. Definitely here for that highs, but or these highs, I should say. This high. So I'm sure some people watching this video now probably have been with me since Bitcoin was back here. It's a long time. Really, that's 2017. It's pretty crazy. So that's my analysis. And this is really just using the Anchor vWap and just looking and say, what does it tell us? This coalesces or aligns with some other things that I'll be releasing in other videos. So it's interesting that this analysis is kind of aligning. And it kind of makes sense in a simple support and resistance. I would say that Bitcoin is unlike any other asset. And what I mean by that is generally you don't see an asset do this. You don't see an asset come in, make a high, make an astronomical high, sell off, go into a winter, and then make another astronomical high, and then sell off, go into another winter, which is really what we're talking about, go into another kind of range winter, and then come up and then breach all-time highs and make another high. Not many asset classes do that. So this is definitely an interesting, unique asset class, but I could see this happening. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Join Discord on the link below. And if you're not subscribed yet, you'll definitely want to subscribe. I'll have more videos discussing kind of this analysis, but also other Bitcoin. I was working on the ultimate Bitcoin report. I scrapped that because I got all the information I needed. And I realized it's not really fair for me not to release it all. So I'll be releasing it in just a few videos here and there. Kind of the key findings. The key findings that I got that really helps me further trade conviction with Bitcoin based on just analyzing price, doing a lot of back testing, and a lot of technical analysis. So that's all. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.